We frequently get asked what type of materials at One Stop Decorating we would recommend for window coverings. And really, that's a pretty broad question because what we want to really determine is what's the function of the space and the function of the window coverings? What style are you going for? And how do you live in your home? Honestly, some people live in their home a little harder than other people do. You've all seen that house you walk into and it looks like a museum, but most of us live in that house that looks well lived in. So we have to take into account the material of the window coverings based on your environment and of course your design style and use. So there are a lot of materials out there to choose from. We discussed hard window coverings versus soft window coverings and the division between them being a hard material like a wood, aluminum, PVC, alloy material, or a fabric on the soft side of things. And we need to understand, first of all, that the harder materials are definitely more durable. So if you have pets, young children, or frankly, you really use your space and live in your house, we really recommend harder window coverings that are going to be made of probably your composite or your alloy materials for two reasons. The composite or alloy materials are much easier to maintain and much easier to clean, and are on the lower scale of price so that if you do break them, you have a dog that chews them up, you're not sick to your stomach because the dog chewed up a $1,000 Roman shade with an irreplaceable fabric, right? It's a blind or a shutter or something you can easily repair or replace a slat in. It makes it pretty easy. So we really want to stick to those hard materials when we're talking about durability. On the other side of the coin, the less durable products are going to be made of fabric, and fabrics, most fabrics, especially ones that are not organic, silks, cottons, things like that, are very difficult to put into high heat and high sun windows because, like anything else that's organic, they do break down eventually. So we really want to be careful with the type of fabrics we choose for a soft window covering, but we also want to take into account how we live in the environment. We never recommend white or off-white fabric shades for kitchens where you do a lot of cooking, because they tend to absorb the grease and they get a little bit dirtier over time. We would want something that would be a harder, more durable material that we could wipe off or clean with a common household cleaner. For more of your great room or your dining room that maybe you don't use very often, it's a beautiful formal great room that nobody ever sits in, or a beautiful dining room that you might eat in twice a year, you can choose those beautiful silks and those beautiful patterns because they're not going to break down over time. You're not going to be opening and closing and using them all the time. They're really just going to be pretty stationary. So you can really kind of expand that type of material into something that's a little more design oriented, a little more decor oriented, and something that's not going to wear out over time. In between there, you have a lot of other durable materials that are polyester based. And that's your honeycomb shades, your roller shades that tend to be a woven, and a lot of your draperies now that are made of polyester because they're very, very durable in the elements. They hold up great in humidity, they hold up great in sunlight, and they hold up great to day-to-day use. And they're very cleanable. You can use a woolite solution in distilled water so that you can keep them clean from rust spots that you might get in your windows, or if you get a little bit of a dirt spot on them where you operate the cord and raise and lower them every day, you're able to blot them clean. So there's a lot of really good durable fabrics that you can include in some of these different window coverings that you might choose. But typically, if you work with degreed designers or registered designers like the ones we have at One Stop Decorating, they're going to be very familiar with the durability, the rub count, and the hand of the fabrics to help you determine which of those things help you get the right fabric in the right situation and incorporate your design and your style into your overall look.